Evidence of climate change. How do we know climate change is really happening? Scientists around the world have been carefully watching and measuring our planet for decades. They've gathered mountains of evidence that all point to the same conclusion. Earth's climate is changing. Let's explore the proof that scientists use to understand climate change. The most basic evidence comes from temperature records. For over 150 years, scientists have been measuring temperatures at weather stations all around the world. These measurements show a clear pattern. Earth is getting warmer. When scientists look at all these temperature measurements together, they see a long-term warming trend. Yes, some years are cooler than others, but the overall direction is clear. Temperatures are rising both on land and in the oceans. The oceans are especially important because they cover most of Earth's surface and can store enormous amounts of heat. Scientists use special instruments to measure ocean temperatures at different depths. These measurements show that the oceans are warming too, not just the surface we can feel. This is crucial evidence because the oceans act like a giant heat storage system. When the oceans warm up, it means our planet is absorbing more heat than it's releasing back to space. Some of the most fascinating evidence comes from ice cores. These are long cylinders of ice that scientists drill from glaciers and ice sheets. Each layer of ice represents 1 year of snowfall, like rings in a tree trunk. Trapped inside these ice layers are tiny bubbles of ancient air. By studying these bubbles, scientists can discover what the atmosphere was like hundreds of thousands of years ago. This gives us a window into Earth's climate history that goes back much further than human records. Scientists also measure ice sheets and glaciers directly using satellites and ground-based instruments. The evidence is dramatic. Ice is disappearing at an accelerating rate. Greenland's ice sheet, which is massive enough to affect global sea levels, is melting faster than ever before. Scientists can even measure how the land rises up when heavy ice melts away, like a sponge bouncing back after being squeezed. This gives them another way to track how much ice we're losing. High on a mountain in Hawaii sits one of the world's most important climate monitoring stations. For over 60 years, scientists at Mauna Loa have been measuring the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Their data shows CO2 levels rising steadily year after year. This measurement, called the Keeling curve, is one of the most important pieces of climate evidence. It shows CO2 levels have risen from 315 parts per million in 1958 to over 420 parts per million today, levels not seen for millions of years. Scientists don't just measure CO2. They also track methane, nitrous oxide, and other greenhouse gases at monitoring stations worldwide. All of these gases are increasing, and all of them trap heat in our atmosphere. Each gas leaves a unique fingerprint in the atmosphere. Scientists can identify exactly where these gases come from and how much humans are contributing compared to natural sources. Beyond temperature and ice, scientists observe changing weather patterns around the world. Storm tracks are shifting, rainfall patterns are changing, and extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and intense. Weather stations, satellites, and radar systems all provide evidence that our weather is behaving differently than it used to. These changes match exactly what scientists predicted would happen as greenhouse gases increase. Nature itself provides evidence of climate change. Plants are flowering earlier in the spring, responding to warmer temperatures. Scientists have records showing that many plants now bloom weeks earlier than they did decades ago. Animals are also responding to climate change. Many species are migrating at different times or to different places. Birds arrive at their breeding grounds earlier, butterflies shift their ranges northward, and marine animals move to cooler waters. Ocean ecosystems are changing too. Scientists document coral bleaching events, track fish populations moving to different areas, and measure changes in ocean chemistry. These biological changes provide living proof that our climate is shifting. Even tiny ocean creatures like plankton are responding to climate change. Scientists study these microscopic organisms because they form the base of ocean food webs and are very sensitive to temperature changes. Satellites in space give scientists a global view of climate change. They can measure ice thickness, track vegetation changes, monitor sea level rise, and observe weather patterns from above. This space-based evidence confirms what ground-based measurements show. Satellites also measure the amount of energy coming from the sun and how much heat Earth radiates back to space. This energy balance is fundamental to understanding climate change. What makes this evidence so powerful is that it all tells the same story. Temperature records, ice measurements, atmospheric monitoring, and biological observations all point to the same conclusion: Earth's climate is warming due to human activities. Scientists from different countries, using different methods and studying different parts of the planet, all find the same patterns. This consistency makes the evidence incredibly strong. This evidence isn't based on just a few years of data. Scientists have been monitoring Earth's climate for decades, and some evidence goes back millions of years. The longer we observe, the clearer the picture becomes. Conclusion: the evidence for climate change is overwhelming and comes from many different sources. Temperature records, ice measurements, atmospheric monitoring, and biological observations all confirm that our planet is warming. This isn't based on opinion or guesswork. It's based on careful, scientific measurement and observation. Understanding this evidence helps us make informed decisions about our future. The data is clear. Climate change is happening. It's caused by human activities, and it's time to act on the evidence. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Share with like minds.